Hi, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about using the terminal for creating file systems on different drives for when you get a new drive. So for me, the example I'm going to use is I'm actually going to be removing Windows from my system. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to list all my drives. I'm going to actually use lsblk. And if I look, I know Windows is on the SDA drive. So SDA 1, 2, 3, and 4. SDB is where my Arch install is. I do have an NVMe drive, which is my games drive right here. It's just one partition. So what I'm going to actually use is cfdisk. I'm going to do sudo cfdisk dev sda. So I'm leaving out the 1. So I'm just going to do that. I'm going to hit enter, do my password, and we've got this. As you can see, it's a EFI, Microsoft Reserved, Microsoft Basic Data, Windows Recovery. Now, my Arch install, I do not have OS Prober enabled in the grub file, and I do not have OS Prober installed either. So my Arch install actually cannot see the Windows install other than seeing the drive and being able to mount it. I use cfdisk whenever I install Arch on a system because it gives me just a nice terminal-based user interface. So, and you have these things down here at the bottom here. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to delete the different file systems that make up Windows to recover all of the drive data. So we've deleted all of the file systems there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a new partition. I'm going to let it take the full drive. It's supposed to be a 500 gig drive, but no drive actually shows up as its size. You get the usable size. So I'm just going to do that. I'm actually going to go to type. You have all these different types that you can use. I'm honestly going to just leave it as Linux file system. We're going to write this to the drive. I'm going to type yes. I'm going to hit enter. And now we're going to quit. And I'm going to clear this out, lsblk. And as you can see, SDA1 is now its own drive. Now, you can format it to many different Linux file systems. I, as of late, have been using BTRFS or ButterFS. So after doing the partitioning of the drive, after deleting the partitions and repartitioning the drive, I'm going to do another lsblk, list my drives out. You see SDA1 is there. So now I'm just going to do the command to format the drive. The command I'm using is mkfs.btrfs, but I am using the -f command because there is an active file system already on the system still for this drive. So, and then I'm using the L command to label it as media, and then dev sda1 because that lines up with the drive. So we're going to go ahead and do this. Let it create a file system on the drive. It's going to do trim on the drive and format it. We have that. Now if I do lsblk again, the drive is formatted, but there is an issue with it. If we go here and we mount it, you'll see I cannot create a folder. And if I right click, go to properties, you can see that root owns the drive. But if you go to like my NTFS formatted drive here, you see that I have ownership of that drive. And even if I mount my games drive, which is actually ButterFS, and select the properties on this drive, you see that my user is the owner of it, even though it's not part of a group. With the media drive mounted, you do have to have it mounted, even though you can't write nothing onto it. So now I'm going to clear my drive. I'm going to do lsblk-f. This is going to give me the drive, ButterFS, file system types, the label, the UID, and 0% of use. But it's going to give me the mount point. So I'm going to use chown to take ownership of the drive. So what I'm going to do now is the next command. So I want to chown the drive recursively and put it under my username and user group. So now I'm going to do run media chain media. Now it should ask you for a password. It may not, but because I've entered in, because I formatted the drive with my sudo command. And when you stay in the same terminal, it sometimes won't ask you for a password. So I'll hit enter, go back to the drive. If I right click it, check the properties, permissions, you now see that I am the owner of the drive here for user permissions, and I can create a folder. And this is something that sticks upon reboot. It stays. So that is just the way that I wanted to show how you can just create a partition on your drive or delete an old drive that you have that you want to repurpose. There are GUI tools like gparted and gnome disks. If you're using a software like gparted or the mkfs command, it doesn't give you the option to assign it to specific users, so a user has access to it. It by default is going to format the drive for the root user, so you have to take ownership of the drive using chown and the command shown, and it will be, all these commands will be in the description for specifically what I did to do my file system stuff here. So I'm going to document now, just moving forward, using only Linux, because honestly, I haven't booted into Windows for over a year. But the other option is you can use gparted, but again, remember, you will have to take ownership of the drive because gparted does not give you the option to assign that drive to your user. With this, hopefully this helps somebody with adding a new drive or repurposing an old drive for their Linux system. But like, subscribe, comment below, share the video, and I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye.